Hey guys, it's Jeremy with Dragon's Breath Glassworks. I wanted to show you our new toy here. We just picked this up a couple days ago from the folks over in Americus, Georgia at the Mobile Glassblowing place, and I wanted to go over some things about our new furnace. I have not used it yet, basically just unboxed it, but I want to show some of the features that this came with. This is their package that you can buy. Comes in right around $6,000 for the Mini with the package. So go over a few little things about it. So one thing I really like that they have done here is the Mini Marver. This for me is a great size. I know some people like these huge Marvers. I work on a very small space normally, so this is the perfect size for me. There are one or two little things that make this a little bit of a problem, and I'll talk about that in a second. I'm gonna go to some other things that I really like about this first. They've done all this, they build all these parts. My understanding is they make their own crucibles as well. This is a little 15-pound pot, so it doesn't hold a lot, but if you're just blowing for a few hours or making small pieces, this should be sufficient. Smaller than what I normally work out of, but it will do the job. I quite like the roller system. It's very similar to what I use on my normal furnace, so it is something I'm familiar with, and if I need to adjust it on the fly or make some repairs, I can do so. I like the crescent door. Again, something I always build into all of my own furnaces because I work out of them as though they are the glory hole, so that's good. I did not opt for the annealing tube on this. I can add it later if I choose, but I use a Denver annealer on the road anyway, so I don't really need this tube. It is something that I'm thinking about adding in the future once I see how this works out. My favorite thing on this entire furnace, honestly, before using it, are the tires. I do a lot of shows on the road. I'm moving around constantly, and they didn't cheap out on the wheels. These are much larger than you would typically get on equipment, mobile equipment. I really, really like this. As a comparison, let me show you the additional casters you can buy when you buy a piece of Denver equipment. These tiny little things are like 80 bucks for the set, and they're just terrible. So the larger tires they put on there, I love. The handles do the job well. They're a little wobbly, but honestly, that doesn't bother me at all. Rather than doing a precise fit, they just got 2 bits of square stock that met up well, and that's great. It does the job. When in transport, this thing can unbolt from the frame and can actually tuck down underneath and fit in that gap for really compact size. You could fit this in a small SUV if you wanted to. I really do like the burner system that they've got here. They're using a Giberson tip. I use Giberson on all my furnaces, so again, it's something I'm already familiar with. Rather than a valve, like a red or yellow valve for gas or air, they have done this system, and I haven't used it yet, but in theory, I like this a lot more. It should be much easier to control, much more precise, so we will see how this actually works out. As far as a blower, it's a Dayton. You can't go wrong with those. They work well. They're well made. They take abuse well. I am surprised there was no flue system for the squirrel cage here, but with the regulatory system they've got built in here, you probably just don't need it. I'll be curious to see how that works. If I need to, I can easily add something to choke this off if I want for, say, reduction pieces. It does come with a regulator and hose, and this might just be me because I do so many road shows, but I love that it is a, get this in here, it is a quick connect, which is phenomenal. I hate putting together and taking those apart over and over when I'm doing road shows, so that's really, really nice. There are just little things. The on-off system for the blower, instead of just being a simple toggle switch, it is a turn on, hold the button for 2 seconds to fire up. That's just a nice little extra. I like that. It's going to be more durable than those simple toggle switches. The one real complaint I have, and I don't know if this is by design or if this is just an oops in the manufacturing, is the placement of the bolts and nuts over here on the yolks. So the way the yolks are set up is you've got a slot built into the furnace that you tighten down with the wing nuts, and it comes up and over into this armature And the armature actually has a place where you lock in the marver, but it also splits, and you've got these two risers for your yolks. And this one is set up perfect. It makes total sense. The nut is welded here, and you just thread the bolt in, it locks this in place. It's nice and stable, it can't move. It's great. It doesn't interfere with the marver. It doesn't interfere with your fingers when you're tightening it and loosening it. You're not banging your knuckles on the marver or the yoke. It's great. This one, they welded the nut on the marver side. So this causes a few issues. You do kind of struggle to get in and out of there, but the worst is when you tighten this down, and I've taken it out. Here's what it's like without that in there. So it is very loose without a nut and bolt holding it. But when you tighten this all the way down to where it's tight, give me a second here, I'll show you what I mean. So tight and not moving anymore, or moving very little, you have a lot of lost marver space. Now it's what, an inch maybe, but on a marver this size, an inch is a lot of space. So I am removing this completely, and I haven't reached out to the guys over at Americas yet. This might just be a simple oversight in manufacturing. My guess is when they welded this bit of square stock on, it should have been turned 90 degrees so that this nut was over here. I don't think that that was by design. So I'm going to see if maybe I can swap this armature out for one that has the nut in the correct orientation, and if not, I'll just grind that off, tap and drill a new hole, and weld my own nut on, and problem solved. The other little annoyance, I'm not a big fan of the pipe warmer rack. It's great. It's better than no pipe warmer, I suppose. It's better than leaning your pipes up against the gathering port and warming them up that way, which is what I do on some of my furnaces. But it's just, it feels flimsy compared to the rest of the structure. Now I've got this nut tightened down pretty far. It's not moving, the nut's not tightening down anymore. It's bound, but this is still really wobbly. If this were maybe 6 inches longer, I would feel more comfortable putting pipes on it. But as it stands, unless your pipe is resting on the door or right up into it, my pipes, which are kind of heavy on the back end, they are counterweighted, and that's because of the size of the work I typically do. They tend to rock up and off that and then slide off the back of the rack for the pipe warmer. So that is something that I feel like could have been just a little bit beefier in its engineering. But other than that, and maybe that little oops there with the wing nut, I think that this is constructed really well. I really enjoy this. I think it was well put together. I am excited to fire it up tomorrow and give it a try. One little funny thing, I was really impressed with the work and effort they went into making this handle. It's like, wow, this is really nice. They either went out and got steel and that was already like this, or they took the time to coil it. This will be really good for heat disbursement. And then I looked closely and I realized that all they've done is welded a welding pick on there, which is funny to me. I think that was a really clever idea. It makes a really nice looking handle. It looks like it's well secured, and the fit and finish on this furnace is great. They really put everything together well. The castable looks good. Everything looks like it fits together well. The welds, I'm going to try to find one here that I can show you with my camera still focusing. The welds are pretty good. They look like they are deep and true welds. They look like they are strong. They are not the cleanest welds I've ever seen, but for what this piece of equipment is doing, I am very happy with the way it's been put together. So here's a little bit cleaner weld that they've done. They've just ground it a little cleaner. They didn't grind it to a total smooth flat finish, and that's okay. It's going to be a nice piece of equipment, I think. So once I get this all fired up and have used it for a couple days, I'll do another little video telling you my thoughts on it. So for those of you who have not had a chance to get out to Americas and look at them in person, but have been curious about what these things are all about, hopefully this was helpful. So if you like this, check out the videos on my other tool talks and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot. Enjoy.